Well, hello. Welcome to Tarot to a T. Today we're going to do mid-February 2023 for the sign of Virgo. If this is the first time to my channel, Virgo, welcome. Glad you found me, and if you are returning, you're amazing. And I'd also like to give a huge, heartfelt thank you to any subscribers or those who have donated to my Buy Me a Coffee account, which the link can be found in the bottom of the description box if you are interested in making a small donation to my channel. Shows me you appreciate me, and allows me to keep going. So just thought I'd mention that. So this is an open inquiry, a general inquiry for Virgo for mid-February 2023. Okay, we're almost set here. Let's get started. Nine of Clubs. Something completed here that you're feeling very satisfied and content with. It's a remarkable achievement of some sort. It could be really in any area of your life. I tend to see it as more, the physical aspects, like I don't know, making a certain income, perhaps acquiring a home that you've always dreamed of, a vehicle, that kind of thing. Not necessarily has to do with money, but just some kind of achievement. Maybe you've been working on a project and that's finally come to fruition. The Queen of Diamonds. This could be you or another earth sign, Taurus or Capricorn. I actually tend to associate Queen of Diamonds with Taurus. It just rings true for me. So, the Queen of Diamonds, if you don't have this earth sign around you, this could be you and kind of embodying what I was just saying here, some kind of monetary achievement. Obviously, there's a emphasis on pentacles with the diamonds, but the Queen of Diamonds has a very practical and no-nonsense approach towards budgeting and not overspending and using money wisely. Yeah, that could totally be you, Virgo. Especially if you've achieved something, in your career or some kind of solo effort. Wow, look, you've got a major chapter that is wrapped up for you with this 10 of Clubs that involves some kind of travel. Travel could be physical, could be going on vacation, it could be unexpected, but it's always for good reasons. There's good vibes around it. And when I say unexpected, like you could be invited by a friend or a family member to come visit them in a distant place, or maybe go to a faraway country with them. Maybe they're going to ask you to do that, and you're going to be able to do that with this 10 of Clubs. It also could be symbolic, the travel. I tend to see that as mentally or emotionally traveling from one mindset to another, but it's always for the good, it's always for the positive. So I like to see that. It's one of my favorite cards, actually. The 10 of Hearts, that's even more fantastic. As you probably gathered, it's about celebration and happiness. It's kind of like reaching the end of the rainbow. So again, you have a focus here on achievement, some financial, I'll say practical, no nonsense financial matters. It's just like you're back in the game. I'm hearing you're back in the game. You're on the ball again. But it's very solid with that Queen of Diamonds. It tells me that. And two major chapters that have wrapped up that involved possibly some R&R, or just moving into a more positive, optimistic mindset. But the 10 of Hearts is that celebration and reaching some kind of goal that has brought around fulfillment. on a very deep level. It's celebrating with family and friends as well. So whatever form that has taken for you, Virgo, congratulations. This is looking like a fantastic reading so far. These two popped out together, King of Diamonds and the Five of Clubs. King of Diamonds, again, could be that earth sign energy, Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. King has a little bit more power and dominance than the Queen. We're not looking at genders, so we're not looking at male, female. Just some kind of dominance with that King. I tend to see it as, for example, in your case, you taking control of your finances, which would totally fit this scenario of achievement and just knocking it out of the ballpark with, you know, ultimate happiness and contentment and able to travel on top of that. The Five of Clubs is a need for change, though. It's the renovation card. It's like things are stagnant. What I'm reading into this with the King of Diamonds energy combined, it's like there's some kind of change that needs to occur around how you control money. Now that could go either way. It could be that you hang on to money too tightly, or you don't hang on to it when you should. You're not, again, in that practical mindset. But I'm seeing that with the Queen of Diamonds that you possibly are. So perhaps you're a little bit too controlling with that King energy around finances, and you don't really need to be. Not sure what that's about. I mean, it could be just as simple as learning to enjoy life more, because whatever money and possessions that we acquire in this life, guess what? You don't get to strap them to the top of the hearse and bring them with you. You know, ultimately we all go somewhere, and we don't bring any of this with us. All of this, for example, everything sitting on my table, which most of these things have sentimental value to me, because I either acquired them myself, because I used to go rock hunting, rock hounding, or they came from somebody else as gifts. But ultimately, I don't get to take any of it with me. One day somebody else will be able to enjoy what I have here, but it won't make a damn bit of difference for me anymore. So maybe you're, I don't know, maybe you're kind of in that protective mode of hanging on to abundance just a little too tightly, and you should just enjoy life more. That's kind of what my speech was about there. These two wanted to come out together. The Queen of Hearts, four of Clubs. See, that Queen of Hearts is that nurturing energy. It could also be a water sign. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. But Queen of Hearts in particular is kind of that motherly, taking care of somebody else, being nurtured, or nurturing somebody else. The energy can flow both ways. But the Four of Clubs is balance and security around the home. You may be a mother that is able now to take care of your home better. Not necessarily physically, but just because you have this abundance, you know, at your feet. Things can flow more freely in the home, as far as, you know, what goes on the table, the luxuries that you can afford if you're living with children or other family members. I see, so to wrap this interpretation up with these two, I see you being able to take care of home matters in a more nurturing way. Whatever form that is for you and what that means. Maybe now you are the breadwinner, and so you're looked at as the person who takes care of everybody else. Not necessarily in a bad way, because that can sound kind of codependent, but you're just able to do it. Physically, you have achieved that status. Let's go ahead and look at your cards of advice, being drawn that way. Wow, new start. This is the Tower card. So all this success and abundance here and happiness is come on the heels of something that needed to be restructured. You know, the vision of the tower is that it's a structure that needs to come down because it's faulty. There's something wrong with it. Even though it's mighty and it's large and it's probably been there a while, so it has a very large foundation, you still have that foundation to build from. But there was something faulty with the tower. And we have to look at that as rebirth. We have to appreciate that we now get a second chance to restart that. So that's where you're headed, it looks like. Perhaps whatever transpired in the past, be it struggling with finances, perhaps the end of a major relationship, it looks like you're well past that, and you're being asked to recognize it for what it is. That second chance, that new start, the rebirth, the refreshing of your life as it goes forward. And look at this, you have another 10. Something majorly completed here in terms of finances and prosperity and success. So again, I'm feeling, I should say, you have a very, very solid, awesome financial foundation right now. You've achieved that in some sense. I think you worked for it. I don't think it just came to you. And so whatever bar that you set for yourself, you've achieved that with this 10 of diamonds. Again, it's kind of closing a chapter. So what that means when I say close a chapter is you don't need to focus on it anymore. You probably need to go on to new lessons, new adventures, new paths that are also part of your journey, right? It's not all about money. You've achieved that here, which is fantastic. It's a very nice reading, actually. Jack of Hearts. Keep your heart open. You could be dealing with a younger water sign again, the Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, but I tend to see the Jack of Hearts in this context of you being able to keep your heart open, and with that, a sense of vulnerability. So just because you've accomplished all this, don't put yourself on a pedestal that you're untouchable. Recognize that you're still vulnerable and that you can still be this grounded, down-to-earth person. You are an earth sign anyway. So I don't think Virgo goes too far from that. They don't stray too far from their earthly roots. But if there's if there's a tendency for it to go to your head, you're being reminded to be humble in this way and keeping your heart open to life and other people and circumstances. Another Jack. This is a fire sign energy. I'll start there. Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. But I also see it again. The Jack is a new experience. It's being open, right? You don't have all that, the years and years of experience, so you're not jaded. You don't have this necessarily authority. You're more humble in the Jack position. And this Jack emphasizes support and generosity to others. So this is how interpreting this, now that you're on this new start, it may incorporate the support and generosity you need to extend to others because you're in this position now. And that generosity has to incorporate this, having your heart open. It's pretty plain to me. I mean, awesome position for you to be in. And being grateful and humble in that position, I think. It's just a little nudge of advice. It doesn't mean that you've cut people off and that you're letting it go to your head, but take it how it fits your situation. Another new start with the Ace of Clubs, learning new skills and acquiring some kind of knowledge with the Ace of Clubs. So if you're in this point in your career, your employment life, I mean, maybe you don't have to work anymore. You're being encouraged to still expand your intellectual, emotional life by looking at it as, okay, now I get to start on a path that's completely fresh. You don't have to go back to the old way of operating and what you've been doing for the past few years, for example. Things are very up in the air here, too. This is also the full energy in traditional tarot. Many readers see this as a new start with the full energy, which could certainly apply in this situation. I tend to focus on the full, just not having knowledge and foresight into what's coming. And that can sound a little mysterious and dark in some ways, but it's not. It's just that it's a reminder that however we try to control every aspect of our life, we don't know what's headed our way. And it kind of puts us back in that position of, okay, we are kind of at the mercy of events and the world situation. As a collaborative effort, we create our world. We do create our own life to an extent. I do firmly believe that we have control over our own lives, but we have all these other lives and the world situations that intersect with our own. In that sense, we have this chaos. We have these external events that seem to come from nowhere. But see, everybody has their own focus and their own agenda, right? So this reminds us to be like a fool, in the sense that don't have any preconceptions and don't assume that the things that you've laid in place are always going to be there, and that events that come your way are in your control. Because I think sometimes when particularly bad things happen to us, we feel like, not always, but I think in some cases we tend to believe that we attracted them or we could have done better. We kind of blame ourselves. That's a reminder not always that you can be blamed. I hope I'm making that clear and not just confusing you, but it's the certainty that things can be very uncertain and out of our control. I'll just leave it there. And you are experiencing this stress relief right now in your home and lifestyle, and I think that's just kind of a given. It's not any big surprise this card to show up. Just an emphasis that things are pretty smooth for you right now, Virgo. But it did come on the heels of a little bit of uncertainty, and just kind of learning to recognize that and keeping that in mind, perhaps in the back of your mind. I wouldn't focus on it constantly and obsess about uncertainty, but yeah, we gotta learn to roll with the punches. That's for sure. That's what a lot of this life is about. 8 of Diamonds, entrepreneurial. So you are kind of on a solo effort. You have been on this solo effort of some sort. If you're not like owning a business yourself or started a business, it is about that independent initiative you took in a direction that has set you up probably very nicely financially. I think we've seen the evidence of that. And now the rewards and the time and the energy and the sacrifice are paying off. Yeah, you've earned this. That's what I see here. You've earned this. But don't forget what the Joker and the Fool has to teach us as you embark on these new starts, and you're building from a very solid foundation, probably something even better than existed before. One more mention here of remembering to perhaps learn how to be more supportive and generous towards others, because you're clearly in a position where you can do that. And generosity doesn't mean handing somebody a check. It could also mean lending advice, being a support for them emotionally, giving your time, maybe teaching them something, that kind of thing. I am going to end it there. This is out of this world. This is fantastic. Okay. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope it gave you some insight and helps you through your days until we meet again. If you'd like to see when the next video comes out, don't forget to hit subscribe, notifications, and if you are feeling generous and would like to make a donation, that link is at the bottom of the description box. You copy and paste that into your browser. Voila! Takes you right there. It's pretty simple. And I appreciate anything you can throw my way. And you have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.